Welcome, this is G with All Astrology, and right now this is going to be a free subscriber reading. I want to first give out the date, which is 12/12/2019. That's right, December 12th, 2019. We are in the midst of a full moon, a Gemini full moon at 20 degrees. It is also the 12/12 download of information. We have Saturn, we have Venus, and we have Jupiter sitting right next to each other. Like Saturn's the person in the middle. Venus is the chick in the middle. Jupiter's to the left. Saturn's to the right. And they're all holding hands. And so Venus is what I value. Okay? Saturn is traditions and structures and business and the way things have always been, and discipline and high integrity and doing things by the book, rules. Okay? Doing things slowly, methodically, no shortcuts. Did I already say high integrity? That is Saturn. Pluto is deep transformations, right? Rooter of the zodiac. The three of them are in a conference right now, literally in a conference. Now, Venus isn't going to be there long. So yes, they're at the table. They got the coffee mugs. They're drinking. They're talking. Venus is saying, hey, this is what's important. This is what I value. And Saturn is saying, I get it. I hear what you're saying, but we've always done it this way. And Pluto is saying, guys, I hear both of you, but I am looking down the road and I am telling you, this is what we need to do for the future. It's the greatest good for all involved, not the greatest good for the left, the right, the minority, but the greatest good for all involved. That is Pluto. Okay, so when Pluto comes to the table and listens to both sides, it says, hey, this is what needs to change. And it's no joke when Pluto's involved. Pluto goes in and grabs that shit by the root, rips it out, and just throws that shit. And then that's when the phoenix comes about. That's when the phoenix rises up, because out of the ashes, right, out of supposedly nothing, something grows, something emerges, and it's going to be something of value. Something that you value. Now, this is also going to be, I think I already said this, a free reading. So in a minute, I'm going to give out the birth info so that you know who you are. And right now, I want to also further explain that if you are new here, this is All Astrology, where we do free subscriber readings. Every subscriber gets one high quality report. It is a gift. Understand, the report is not a computer generated thing. How many times have you gone somewhere and you've heard free, and you go and you punch in your stuff and then you get some spit out of some, just some typical pre-arranged meanings of houses and signs. They don't take the stuff and meld it together, right? There's no combining of knowledge and giving you an actual reading. There's no foresight, there's no insight, there's no intuitiveness, there's no intellect. There's not a weaving of all those things. That is not what you get here at All Astrology. It's the real deal here. It is completely 100% legit. I take the astrological knowledge, the wisdom, the beautiful universal language in combination with my intuitiveness. I look at your chart and I tell you what needs to be, what I need to express. And it's not so much me, it's the universe flowing through me, speaking directly to you. I know that sounded really bold, and that's got to be like, whoa, who the hell does this person think they are? I'm not telling you, I'm just sharing, all right? You can take it, you can leave it. Either way, it's free. It's a gift. Listen closely. In a moment, I'm going to give the birth info, and then you pay attention, and you're going to see what the hell a free reading looks like, okay? And I'm also going to tell you how you can get the free reading. I first have to go over the energies of what we're at and what we're looking at right now. Right now, like I said, it is the conference between Venus and Pluto and Saturn. It is also the full moon in Gemini at 20 degrees. Where is 20 degrees Gemini in your chart? That will tell you in what area of your life you are having closure. Gemini is thinking. It's our intellect. It's how we think. Okay? It is also business. It is our immediate surroundings, our environment. It is our siblings. It is our neighbors. It is social media, because it's about communications, how we talk. Okay? That, sales, right? Sales, business, communication, sales. So that is where the full moon is at. For some, 20 degrees Gemini, depending upon where you live, could have happened in the middle of the night last night, right? Now, it is a closure. It's a closure to something. A closure on how we think about something, okay? The sun right now is at the opposite end in Jupiter. Jupiter is our beliefs. The sun is at 20 degrees in Sagittarius. Jupiter rules Sag. It's all connected. So it's what we believe. It's our faith. It's our hope. It's our philosophy on life. It is also the law. It is also traditionally connected to religions. Okay? So if you're listening to this, and you might be having some revelations in your life, it may not click for you at this exact moment, but you may have some realizations of things that you are putting a close, you're an ending of something, because the full moon shines its big, beautiful light, and it gives you an awareness to something that was in the dark, right? At nighttime, it's dark. But when we have this big, beautiful full moon, we can see so many things on the ground without artificial light. The moon illuminates these things. And all of a sudden, we have a different perspective. And so when we get that additional perspective, we somehow have a closure on something. We're like, okay, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit differently about that thing. So wherever Gemini 20 degrees is in your chart, that particular house is how you will better understand, because whatever location that is in that house is where it is in your life. All right? If you don't know, comment your digits below. I can help you figure that out. Okay. Now, this is a huge day. Today, and most more importantly, I think, is tomorrow, the 13th, right? The 13th of December. We have a strong square between Jupiter and Chiron. So when we talk about Venus being next to Saturn and being next to Pluto and stating, okay, we have a mature Venus. She understands what she values. She knows what her boundaries, borders, and limitations are, and she's able to express and communicate them to these big dogs. Then we have our Jupiter and Chiron. Chiron it's Chiron in Aries, okay? Now this Chiron in Aries is all about self, who I am, my identity, things about me I wasn't aware of before, and how I value these new things about me. Aries is the initiator, okay? The first initiator. We've got the three other cardinal signs, which are Capricorn and Libra and Cancer, but Aries is the first of all of those, okay? It's the first sign of the zodiac, okay? It's the initiating initiator. So when you have Chiron there, and it involves, well, first of all, find out where Aries is in your chart. Find out where is your Chiron in your chart, okay? A lot of these things have deep meanings. They're typically tied with our deep emotional wounds, but a Chiron in Aries, regardless of what your natal Chiron is, Chiron in Aries is going to be, when you see what house number it's in and you understand the meaning of that house, it is about your individuality in that area of your life. It's something about you that's coming to life. It's at 1 degree. So there's 30 degrees in a sign. So you're going to be learning about all this. It's initiating. If you are an aware person, okay, you probably have a good idea of what I'm talking about. You would know if there's new beginnings in your life. You would understand in what area did something new start up. Now I hear you. There's been a lot of new things. All these planets in Capricorn. Jupiter just got into Capricorn, okay? And it's going to be doing this 12-year cycle. It will be in Capricorn for 1 year. When I say 12-year cycle, in 12 years, it'll be back at this spot. So in other words, it gets to there, and then Jupiter grows. It starts off here, and then in 12 years' time, it'll come all the way back around. And Jupiter is about wisdom. It's about higher learning. It's about my faith, my belief, okay? So when it goes and travels through all those houses, it picks up knowledge of each house. And with each set of experiences, it walks away holding nuggets of information. And it becomes wisdom. That's Jupiter, wisdom. All right? So for the next year of your life, take a hard look at where Capricorn is. There's no way you don't know, right? Like if you don't know anything about astrology, I can understand that. And you found the place to be. This is the right place to be if you don't know anything about astrology. Because I can very easily punch in your digits and find out where Capricorn is in your chart and give you a really quick reply as to this is the area of your life where you're going through major changes. All right? Because Jupiter's there, Pluto's there, Capricorn's there. Right now, Venus is there, Saturn's there. Okay? Lots of changes. Reconstruction. A complete renovation. It's funny, I got neighbors across the street. I don't know if you can hear them. They've been doing a complete renovation for a few months now. And now they got some big equipment out there. Like they are really doing, they're adding on, they're changing things. They're really kind of starting from the ground up. Okay? And that's what happens when we have all this stuff going through a structured sign of Capricorn. It means we need to take the structure of the home and literally change the structures. Okay? And Pluto's involved, so likely some foundational work as well. All right? I don't know who these people are specifically, but I would put money that they have, that their home and the birth year of the home, that they bought the home and the date of it, there is probably some Plutonian energy in Capricorn in their fourth house, or something that speaks to their fourth house because, like I said, they've been doing some major reconstruction. Now, let's bring this up to speed and make this relevant for this reading. This is going to be an Aries rising reading. If you're Aries rising, you can listen to this reading and get some indications of the events and the dates that I'm going to list of things that are going to be going on. Okay? More specifically, I'm going to give out a birth date here. The birth date is January 16th, 1961. Did I say January? Scratch. February 16th, 1961. New Zealand, okay? February 16th, 1961, Auckland, New Zealand. I'm sorry, 9:40 a.m. Didn't give you the birth time. So right then and there, for those listening, if you're new, all you got to do is put your birth digits down below, and I'll get back to you. Okay? That's how you get the free reading. One-time gift. All right, let's move on. Okay, guy, girl, I'm not sure if these people, whoever this is male or female. I have no idea. What I can tell you right off the bat is you're going through a Saturn return. Let me tell you a little bit about a Saturn return. Saturn is all about making sure that you are doing what you came to do. And if you're not, when Saturn comes back to its home spot, it completely and totally gets rid of the previous structures you had going on in your life. So a lot of things that happen to people, they change work, they change marriages, they change partnerships, right? It depends on where it's located in your chart as to specifically what's going to change. You, my friend, it's in your house of profession. It's in your career. It's in work. Okay? So, you're experiencing this already. It's not even on top of it yet. It hasn't even returned yet, but people start to feel it. When they're like 58, 59 years old, they can feel it. They see the things happening. Plus, we've had the addition of Pluto, so things have been happening for you. They've been changing. Pluto has been in this house of Capricorn for 13 years already. So this transformation started 13 years ago. For all of us, wherever Capricorn is in our chart, Pluto's been there for 13 years. That's the cool thing about Pluto. It makes major changes, but it does them slowly. It does them deeply, remember, because it goes in at the root. But it does them completely. So by the time it leaves, that won't be until 2025. We've got a completely different house. Okay, Capricorn, and our whole ideas and thinking and communicating and relating, and wherever Capricorn is in our house, like this person is in their profession. But for you, sir, or female, ma'am, I'm not sure. It is also, my friend, how's that? It also began in your ninth house, which was your beliefs, what I believe. Oddly enough, it's not odd, it's actually kind of nice. You have Jupiter that just entered your ninth house. So having Jupiter just entering your ninth house means it's helping you. It's helping you do these things because it's first happening here. Okay, Jupiter coming along in the places of your belief is assisting the back end stuff because your sign, Capricorn, is literally split between two houses. Okay, you've got half of it in your 10th and half of it in your 9th. Well, all the work-related stuff, your 10th house stuff, all the big boys are there. You got Venus there, you got Saturn there, and you got Pluto there, all in your 10th house. So the stuff with work, okay, and your career, you know, your highest aspirations and goals, what you want to be known for in this world, how you want to be recognized and acknowledged professionally, okay? All of that is there. You are a hard worker. You are known to like to work alone, all right? And you've probably been challenged many times in many ways with that. But you've been challenged all your life, especially by feminine energies. Now, these feminine energies doesn't mean that it has to be a male who opposes a female. There's lots of females that don't get along with other females, okay? That happens all the time. One of the things I want to mention here before I start giving out any dates is there's a strong North Node element, which basically just means there is a strong element of your soul bursting through at this time, okay? And it's getting help because it's in an earth sign. It's in Virgo. Now, what you're going to, Jupiter is actually is going to be trining it exactly, which means it's a benefit. It's going to help you succeed at accomplishing your North Node. Our North Node is what we came to do, okay? Which is wonderful. So you have lots of help because your natal Pluto is right next to it. So it's deeply transformational stuff, that means, right? Because it's Pluto. But what it comes down to, because it's in Virgo, is accepting this high level of perfection in your work, which you have, your ability to look and see details, your ability to excavate, like you're the ultimate digger, right? You can go low. You go to the layers no one even freaking knew existed, okay? And this is your idea of perfection. Being able to just keep going relentlessly. Accepting that not everybody can do that. And by now you've probably already realized that, right? Or not. If you haven't, this is when Saturn kicks in. This is when the Saturn return kicks in and says, you know what, dude, or fella or friend, you gotta kind of, I'm sorry I keep saying dude, male. I keep referring this as a male, and I really have no idea if this is male or female, but this must be a strong masculine, there must be masculine energy present. What it's saying is, what it means, what the Saturn return is going to be combined with is an acceptance. Okay, this is a way to see through it because you have help with your Saturn return. I'm going to be real with you. You have Jupiter and Saturn sitting together. So there's going to be where Saturn comes and sits on you heavy, but then there's Jupiter where it's going to add some ease to it. The only thing is that Jupiter and Saturn together, Saturn is literally like rules, okay? Where Jupiter's like, oh shit, I don't want any rules. But you've been dealing with this your whole life. Your whole life you've been dealing with this energy. So this is nothing new, okay? But what I am telling you that I think you might not be aware of, or you are, but you thought it's not that important, is this Virgo stuff. Virgo's all about perfection, okay? And seeing perfection in the details, okay? Having a very high level of expectation on yourself and your work, okay? But then also not being aware, criticizing others for their inability to be as detail orientated or perfect, okay? Now you will be the first to admit you're harder on yourself when it comes to your work than anybody else. But you'll probably also be the first to recognize when there's somebody else who's being just as critical, because that's a strong word for Virgo, critical, about not being able to be perfect. Everyone's, the word perfect is very, that word itself, everybody has a different idea of what perfection is, okay? Everybody has a different idea of that. And there's just, I keep hearing the word acceptance, accept. Sometimes, have you ever seen beautiful works of art that have these crazy flaws that the artist had no intention of doing, but like there was a spill? And they realized, you know what? Holy shit. That wasn't planned, but damn, that actually, I like that. You know, like there are some beautiful things that occur out of these perceived imperfections. And so that's kind of the feel of this, okay? And realizing that to do that for you will then help you to do that for others, okay? Will then take the criticism away from others, the ability to see things about people, the nitpicky little things that are like annoying, right? That can be bothersome, that can be just irritating as hell at times. For the most part of it, you've been dealing with so much stress and tension as far as having to follow rules, but yet wanting freedom, especially feminine energy, you know, sort of squaring up with that and saying, hey, but these are the rules, and you saying, hey, but this is what I want to do, and you want to break away from the feminine, the feminine individual who's pressing, right? And there might have been mom, might have been part of this too. God knows. I spent a lot of time looking at your chart, I got to be honest with you, because we have an eclipse coming up, and so it involves that. It involves feminine energies. It involves mother energies. It involves ideas around home. It involves inner emotional security. Okay, and that eclipse is in 2020. But because you have a planet at 0 degrees, which matches the eclipse energy, you're going to feel it before then. And I am willing to say that in 2020 of January is the beginning of that. Okay, and it's going to be a shift. It's going to be things happening, changing home, okay? I am having these computer things and it keeps asking me for stuff, okay? So now let's just get to some of the dates for you, all right? I feel like I've been preaching. I hate to be in a preaching mode. January 15th, you're going to have, there's a strong feminine energy that comes along and it looks very enticing. It looks wonderful. It can almost be that it creates, there's something very alluring here. At the same time, because you're going to be experiencing your Saturn return, all right? Saturn return energy is, I need to break free. This is that something comes along and looks better on the other side of the hill. And oh wow, I think I want to go with that instead. And the word details I had to write down because they kept popping out and popping out. Because what happens, and you know about this, okay? Again, I said earlier, this isn't something you haven't dealt with before, you have, but it's just going to be a repetition of something you've already dealt with, which is somehow you have this idea that things will work out, and you don't got to really focus on the details, okay? Because Jupiter is involved, all right? And Jupiter is very expansive and big and likes to see the forest. Never wants to see the individual trees that make up the forest. And this is in matters of love and of feminine energy, okay? And probably pertaining to yourself as well, self-love and values, okay? I want you to try to square this away if you already haven't. I have a strong feeling you have because you've had so much experience with this. But I just thought you should know that there's this similar incident is going to come up for you, okay? Like I said, January 15th, it'll be the strongest. A little bit after that, you get a bit of a benefit because even though you have your Jupiter sitting on top of your Jupiter, okay? I'm sorry, your Saturn sitting on top of Saturn. What you're going to have is Jupiter's going to come through and then sit on top of your Saturn. Now, it's basically saying, I'm going to give you your freedom. It's all about freedom. It's all about if I've been in a relationship that's gotten stale and old, I need to break free. And then Jupiter kind of comes along and says, well, yeah, we need to do this. So, my friend, it looks like a relationship at work, or maybe your relationship with work in general, a breaking away from the job, like I'm done. I'm just done. Do I take an early retirement? Did I save up enough? Did I work hard enough? Is it time to walk away? And I'm going to say to you here that you've been going through a lot of changes in that way because Pluto's been involved. Pluto's already involved. And my friend, we don't fight Pluto. We don't fight Pluto. It's not just been Saturn, it's not just been Jupiter, but Pluto is here. And so that is my advice to you, to accept the change and to walk away. But make sure, especially when we're talking about relationships, one-on-one relationships, pay attention to details before you walk away from a relationship, a personal relationship, because you think there's another one out there that's going to be just as good because it looks really good, it's enticing. Make sure you pay attention to the details, because I would hate for you to leave something just to find out that this other thing that this shiny package, once you opened it and looked at the details inside of it, it was like not what you thought it was meant to be, or not what it appeared to be, I should say. All I'm saying is pay attention to the details. Now, at this time in your life, we're talking the 2020 year, okay? A lot of tension and a lot of stress, okay? And I want you to take these seriously. I'm concerned about your health at this time for the year, first 6 months of 2020, okay? If you have any indicators, if you go to the doctor for regular checkups, wonderful. Please don't skip any appointments. Make sure you keep them. And I'm mentioning this because of the fact that the tension that's put on you at this time, typically that kind of tension affects our heart and affects our nervous system, okay? So you just want to make sure you're not skipping appointments, okay? If you notice anything, please get it checked out, just because there's a lot of stress and tension, and it's very typical. I see the energy and the way that it moves, and I see the stress that it can put on, especially in the areas of children and romance and creativity. My ability to create and to express creatively. There is a stress there, a tension, almost a stop and a slowdown. And that's not good. So I want you to just make sure that you are on top of these things, especially come April of 2020. At that time, because there's a few planets that literally sit on top of some other planets and square up with some other planets. And without me giving you an astrology lesson, it just means a lot. It's a stressful time, and it's testing your strength, testing your resiliency. But don't be stubborn. Be smart. Take care of your body, okay? Love yourself, all right? This is important because this is part of that Virgo acceptance of self, okay? It's not about, hey, I'm a flawed being. It's about I am a human being. And we all come with strengths and weaknesses, and knowing what our borders and boundaries are important, and loving ourselves, including all of our borders and boundaries and things that appear to be our limitations, okay? Have a little bit more empathy and take care of your body, because the mental stuff, the mental health really manifests in the physical world, in the physical body. And for you, very much so, okay? You've got a lot of Virgo energy in your 6th house, okay? And some things might be hidden, might be hard to find. Just be patient and just due diligence to the healthcare, okay? To your doctors and to being smart, okay? When the year comes around, I already said April of 2020, now I'm already into June of 2020 looking at the change. Now again, when I say June of 2020, this does not mean a change in that month. I believe you're going to have a change much earlier than that, because you have an exact degree of the eclipse we're going to have, okay? We have an eclipse that's going to happen on the 21st of June, and it's a 0 degrees eclipse in Cancer. Cancer represents our home, okay? It represents the home and our inner emotional security. And when you have something like that matches it, you have your Mars at 0 degrees, and Mars is your body, okay? Mars is your physical body. So that's why I'm telling you, heads up with the body, take care of the body, make sure you're attending all your appointments, don't put anything off, just stay on top of stuff, okay? Because you can maintain and be relatively have a good amount of quality in life as we maintain it, all right? It's not over, but you just got to make sure you're being responsible with yourself, okay? So expect changes in the first 6 months of 2020. Changes with your relationships, changes with the work, changes with the home. And it looks like definitely changes in the work because, like I said, Saturn and Pluto are there. All right. So I hope this has been helpful for you. There was so much to talk about in your chart. And it's all very big stuff. You know, like there's no sense to talk about like new moons, full moons with you. No, you're dealing with big stuff. You're dealing with big endings and major changes, right? Changes at work, changes at home, changes in relationships. You're dealing with a lot of big stuff. So just hold on to your Piscean moon. You have a moon in Pisces, which is the ability to release, the ability to let go, the ability to detach. I know that's how I know you can pull through this. I also see you have a lot of divine help. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we get to just be like, oh, well, I don't got to worry about it. That person said that I have divine help. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that if you follow the instructions, if you follow the rules, that divine help will allow you to live that much more of a better life, okay? So I hope this has been helpful for you, and I love feedback. So again, this was a reading for Aries Ascendant, Aries Risings, and I'm out. Thank you.